Welcome to the Diversity Connector podcast, where we explore the rich tapestry of human experiences. I'm your host, Gertrude Mache, and I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the country on which we meet today. I would also like to pay my respects to elders, past, present, and emerging, and together as we dive into conversations that bridge cultures, challenge stereotypes, and celebrate the unique perspectives each of us brings to the table. Each episode is a journey through stories and insights from a kaleidoscope of voices, each sharing their colorful narrative. Whether you're at home, on the go, or just anywhere in between, you're now part of a community that values understanding, inclusivity, and the beauty of diversity. So plug in your headphones, get comfortable, and let's connect through the power of our shared stories. Welcome, and thank you for joining us on the Diversity Connector podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Diversity Connector. This is Gertrude Mache here in beautiful Melbourne, Australia. And today I am graced with the presence of yet another fascinating woman. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our tribe. Please tell everybody your full name, where you're based, how old you are, and share your story with us today.
Hello, my name is Kylie Lehman and I'm based in Melbourne, Australia. I'm 49 years of age, 50 this coming June, and my story is a very varied one. I have returned to full-time work in the corporate world after many years of doing many different things. I'm a mother of 3 sons, all adults now. But yeah, I realized that this stage of life, looking back on my journey and where I am today, you know, what I can bring to the workforce now in a way that I never have been able to before. So my story started in banking when I finished high school, and did that for about 10 years. And then we lost a family member in a drowning. Justin, my brother-in-law, was 22 and he drowned in a rip. So with that happening and the impact that that had on our family, I ended up leaving the banking industry and joined aquatics. My kids were doing swimming lessons at a YMCA pool near our home, and my husband and I would be there with them every week. And losing Justin, we realized how much we didn't know about water safety, how to, we're Australian, we're the swimming nation, and even though we were raised around water, we still didn't have a clear understanding of what it was to be safe in these environments. So the YMCA pool where my kids were learning to swim, I approached them and I said, I want to be a part of this. I want to be a part of teaching people how to be safe and to prevent any other family experiencing what we went through when Justin passed. So I worked at the Y as a teacher of swimming and water safety, and then went on to run their schools program and ended up staying with the Y for about 5 years. It was wonderful coordinating the schools programs because many children, that's the only education they get in swimming and water safety. Sometimes their families can't afford to put them in lessons outside of, this school program or time constraints. So it was a real blessing to have these kids, for a couple of weeks and giving them as many of the life skills that we could share as we could. So from my experience at the Y, I ended up writing a children's book with the Y called Shelley the Shrimp and Her Aquasafe Friends. And it was a book that raised money. So to go to Foundation Y, it ended up being called. And, as a result of that, we got to put many children through swimming and water safety classes, kids from disadvantaged situations. So that was a real gift. And that book was in Justin's name and was a love job that I hold very dear to my heart. And then after that, we decided to branch out on our own and open our own swim school. So me and my best friend, we started from scratch. We found some water and we started with good friends, kids and nieces and nephews, and built a swim school that we ended up having together for 8 years. We ended up winning the Swim School of the Year award in Victoria, which was huge because we had this little old rickety pool, but it was filled with a lot of love and dedication to the industry and to our purpose and what we were doing. So I look back on that time in my life as yeah, I was really blessed during that time. I got to give and I received so much, and it gave me that opportunity to be present for my kids. So I could, you know, still drop them at school and pick them up. During the day when they were at school, I could, work in the business, and then afterwards, they would come with us to the pool and share in that experience as well. And it became like a big extended family for myself and Paula, and our children and our husbands. So that was a wonderful time in life. And then after that, we had to sell the swim school because my business partner's husband became unwell. And even though they wanted myself and my husband to continue on, we decided that we start this together, we end this together. So we sold our swim school to two of our long-standing employees who I'm very happy and proud to say are still running the swim school to this day. They survived COVID and everything, and outstanding. So I thought, what do I do now? I'm 41. I was supposed to be running this swim school until I was old and grey, and I would not settle for a career that I did not feel connected to, something that didn't, I needed something that was going to light me up and give me purpose. My kids were getting older. They didn't need me to be as present as I had been before. And so I went back to school and I became a vet nurse. I have a great love of animals, always had animals in my life. So it was interesting going back to school at 41 and getting the qualification to become a vet nurse. And I worked in the industry, in the veterinary industry, for 6 years. I have a tendency to gravitate to client services. So I always find myself at a reception desk or having a conversation. So I did do some nursing, but I found it was connecting with the humans about their animals that I ended up spending a lot of those years doing, and enjoyed that very much. And then after that, yoga. So I found that a great stress release for me, and to help me kind of process a lot of what I experienced in the vet world. As you can imagine, you're there with people as they're letting go of their beloved, family members. You would see a lot of sickness, a lot of death. You would see a lot of joy, happiness, and healing as well. Like, there was that balance, but some days it would be very hard, if you were part of a lot of euthanasias in a day, or you lost a patient that you became very bonded with. So I delved into yoga, and that really helped me, the meditation aspect, the breathing, and the practice itself. So much so that I ended up becoming a teacher of yoga, and my husband and I opened a yoga studio in Dandenong. And we were so happy to find somewhere in Dandenong because that's where our swim school was. And we loved the multicultural aspect of the area. Like, we learned so much. There was so many different cultures and so many stories. And, it's such a wonderful place to embrace. And so we opened our yoga studio there 6 weeks before COVID hit. Timing terrible, I know. But we persisted through 6 lockdowns and Omicron, and then decided that that was enough. And after 2.5 years, we stopped and let the business go. And by that stage, I realized how big my children had gotten, and the stage of life that they were at, and the stage of life I was at, and all of the learnings and the failures and the struggles and the joys and the triumphs, how much I had to offer. And the drowning numbers were climbing the highest they'd been in decades. And that bothered me greatly. And Justin, they never leave you, do they? And I thought, no, I need to go back and I need to be a part of reducing those drowning numbers. So I'm back in the industry again. I am working full time for the first time in a long time. And I've found a real sense of purpose once more. And I'm finding, though, returning to full-time work in the corporate world, how quickly technology has advanced, in such a short time frame, how much has changed, how we communicate is different. The spoken word is not what it once was. You need to be able to relay your thoughts, feelings, emotions, and intent through a keyboard. It's so much has changed, even the way people are embraced, how people are supported. I'm really quite taken aback at how much has shifted in such a short period of time. And I think, women and men returning to work in a full-time capacity where their purpose has shifted maybe, or that their focus more so has shifted, and they're ready to embrace something in a very full, whole way. We have much to offer, but we need to be offered, I believe, that support to bring us up to speed a little bit. You know what I mean? And just that transparency and awareness and openness, and bringing together wisdom and what technology has to offer, what our young people have to offer, which I'm finding is so much. I'm currently the manager of a team of 9 people, and a diverse team, a wonderfully diverse team of human beings, male, female. Our eldest team member is in her 60s. Our youngest is in their early 20s, and everyone in between. And the younger members of the team have been such a wonderful support to me, learning the IT and learning these communication styles, and how they see the world, the support that they need on a day-to-day basis, and the struggles they face, and what they see success to be. I think when I was young, what I viewed success to be, compared to what some of the young people who I get to spend time with every day see success to be, there's some big differences there, and some similarities, many similarities too. But I think maybe the way that it's interpreted, and the way it's reciprocated is different. So here I am. I've been back for a year and 2 months, working with this wonderful team in an industry, aquatics, swimming and water safety, that I feel very passionate about. I'm behind the scenes this time around, though. So instead of being on pool deck and being, in the thick of it that way, I'm more behind the scenes and supporting our teachers and supporting our swim schools to bring down the drowning numbers, and to empower as many people with these life skills, these intergenerational life skills, and that's the truth. And I feel like I'm part of something that is so much bigger than my generation and my children's generation. Like this, if you can empower someone with these skills, then they will pass that on to their kids and their kids, and we can bring this level of safety and understanding and adventure to so many people beyond the present. And I find that to be a very wonderful and cool thing to be a part of. And aspirations for moving forward. It's interesting how my goals have changed. The whole climbing the ladder mentality that I used to have, when I was in my corporate life many years ago, when it started all in banking. I had this mindset of what success was, and what that climb would look like, and how I would get there. And it's interesting now, I find myself in a similar space, different industry, different purpose and intent, but a similar organizational structure. But the climb and how that's will look, my mindset around it is very different. But I feel the world is looking at that climb a little different now too. I don't know whether that's post-COVID, that's contributed to that change in mentality. Not sure, but the difference is big, and I think if success is now determined to be health and happiness and coming to work with a sense of purpose and leaving with that purpose, you know, to again return the next day and come with that light shining. That seems to be success now, and that's the kind of success that I'm really excited to embrace and be part of. The ladder and where that's going is no longer the priority. It's how I hold that ladder, how I stand on that ladder, how I can hold that ladder for other people if that's the way that they want to go. Um, and how I can be part of the bigger picture. That quote of, wise men plant trees that they know they will never sit under. I'm understanding that now. So that to me is success. If I can play a part in, watching that tree grow, basically, and that being the ladder.
What an amazing journey you've been on, Kylie. It's inspiring to see a woman who had put aside her career to look after her family, her children, and now coming back into the workplace. What were the biggest challenges that you've experienced so far coming back to work?
I think the leap in technology has been a big one. Great change there. So, I've been very blessed to have team members who have a real savvy that way. So they can, they've helped me along. That and the expectations of our younger workforce now, having an understanding of that, and just learning as I go. I wish I was empowered with that a little more. Yes, when I landed.
It is fascinating when you come back and, the world has changed so much in terms of technology, and you're having to actually, play catch up to make sure that you are in line with what's actually going on, the changes that have happened since you were last at work. So let's talk a little bit about these challenges and the solutions. In your 2 decades of experience, what have been some of the most significant challenges that you faced implementing community programs focused on health and wellness? And how did you overcome them?
Okay. I think the first thing that comes to mind is when teaching swimming and water safety, especially in a dangerous environment, and how people's learning styles are very different. We communicate from our own place, from our
Yeah.
own understanding. And it's not until you trip and fall many times and there's many misunderstandings that you learn that you need to communicate, on a wide range. So that challenge has been a gift at the end, but it took a lot to get an understanding of that, especially, working with many different cultures and many different, expectations of what swimming and water safety is. And then again
Yes.
in the veterinary world, and then again in yoga, it's everyone comes with an expectation, everyone comes with their own way of communicating, and it's just being open to embracing that and learning how to make that work.
Now, the family tragedy that spurred the creation of this business,
Hmm.
a lot of us take for granted that most people in Australia, know how to swim. The elements that are in the sea are beyond our control. I don't think anybody could
Mm,
have seen it coming, could have seen it happening. So, what advice would you give families, anyone who's going to go out into the sea? These riptides are unpredictable. You
mm,
don't know where it is, you don't know when it's going to happen. What
hmm.
advice would you give there?
When Justin passed, the first thing you do is try and make sense of it. So we went straight into research. And if he knew two skills, two simple skills, he'd be with us today. Um, and they were skills that we weren't aware of. A rip, when you look at a shoreline, it actually looks like a peaceful section of water. So you'll see waves and then
Yeah.
this peaceful section, this break in the waves. And people see that and they go, oh, there's no waves there. That's where I'll go to swim. That's the current going out, right? The other thing is if Justin passed because he was getting taken out to sea and he panicked and he turned around and he tried to swim back to the shore. Now, he was a big man, 6'2", 90 kilos, right? Trying so hard to swim to the shore. The current was that strong. He took in too much water and he passed. But if he rolled onto his back and floated and waited for that current to dissipate, yes, you get carried out, but you wait, you float, and then the current dissipates and you come back in, then you can swim back in. So these small pieces of knowledge that
Yes.
can be taught very readily and easily can save lives. And also to swimming between the flags. Do not swim at a beach unless there's flags there and there's lifesavers watching you. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a very big lesson.
Yes.
So, in the landscape of health and wellness, it is constantly evolving. How do you keep yourself and your team adaptable and responsive to these changes?
Wow, that's a great question. Um, I find transparency is very important. Of course, privacy is too, but I think, if trust is developed where if someone's having a hard day and they come up and they can say that openly and that's been heard,
Yes.
it can help them continue through it. Like I find that resilience is a very, very important skill for people to learn. And what it's like, you have to develop a callus sometimes, you have to take the
Yeah.
knocks and try and navigate your way through it. So it's about being open and transparent, knowing people can come and say, I'm doing it tough, and you support them, but you don't do it for them. You're standing next to them as they walk forward, as they tackle it, as they try.
Yes.
And having that, you don't have to know everything, but you just need to know where they're at, because some people have an amazing poker face. Most people communicate through message now. You can't hear the tone of their voice, you can't see
Yes.
their face, so it is very I think having that transparency. If you're having a bad day, tell me. If you're having a good day, tell me. you know and then
Yeah.
if you need for me to walk beside you, I'm not going to do it for you, but I'm here, and you need me, I'm here. So I think that's important, is knowing that they don't have to hide everything. They don't have to pretend. I'm here, I've shown
Yes.
up, I'm not in the best shape, but I'm here anyway. That's
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as someone who excels at working with diverse teams, what strategies can you employ to ensure inclusivity and representation in your programs and projects?
Conversation. Like, I remember someone used to walk into swim school and my God, the team would start laughing. Oh God, here she goes. And they'd see me toddle across pool deck because I would see they had this big, beautiful pendant on and I didn't know what the meaning of that was. Or they were wearing some clothing that I'd never seen before, but I knew it represented something. Or,
Mm,
and it's showing an interest in people means a lot.
it
If you sit
does.
down and say, "Hello," it doesn't it? Like, "Hello,
Mm,
my name is Kylie. I've noticed you're wearing this beautiful jewelry. Can you tell me what that means?" And you see this person light up and they start talking about themselves, their
yes.
family, their history. It's a beautiful thing. And then you learn, you connect, and then that person feels embraced and welcomed.
Yeah.
It's win-win.
Yeah, it's that having curiosity and being like almost childlike in your approach to things that you don't know, not pretending you know everything, but
Yes.
approaching it with curiosity. I love that.
Yes,
That is
100%.
absolutely beautiful.
Mm.
So, your personal growth and learning, what have been some of your most valuable learning experiences while working in community projects and support services and just going back into the workplace?
Okay, I think being honest with yourself and being honest with others, um,
Mhm.
being acknowledging your limitations, acknowledging
Yes.
your flaws, you know, um, it's you can be hard on yourself sometimes unnecessarily, but I think that's very different to being honest with yourself and acknowledging your humanity. Like, I have much to offer, but God, I got much to learn, you know. And what is that? You know, it really taking stock, I think, is really important. And your
Mm,
why. I think your why is everything. I say this to my team all the time. Like, you know, we've been going through this IT implementation and it's got its teething problems and there's challenges. And, you know, when days and moments get really tough, if you don't have a why, what have you got to hold on to? You know?
mm,
So I think always establishing my why is one lesson,
yeah,
especially on the bad days. Yeah, you know, you're taking these hits. This is hard, but why are you doing it? And if that
yeah,
why outshines that, okay, let's crack on. You know, yeah, taking stock, always evaluating your why, and like you said earlier, acknowledging that you don't know everything. You know, everyone has a perspective. You can say one thing to 10 people, and everyone's going to hear that differently from their own place of experience and understanding. So, being empathetic to that too, and being approachable. If you have questions, I am here. If that did not make sense, I
yes.
welcome you to come and talk to me about that. Yeah.
No, I love that. Now, if there was a woman who is listening to this podcast right now, like you, deciding to go back into the workplace,
Mhm.
deciding to venture back, what do you think you could have done differently to prepare yourself for this part of your life when the kids have grown up and you're getting ready to go back to work? What, in hindsight, what would you have done differently?
Honestly, people think that those in their age bracket or older than them can offer insight, wisdom, and experience. And this is true. Of that, I have no doubt. Life experience is everything. But I wish I spoke to more younger people. Instead of thinking the younger people should come to us for the advice, we've lived longer, we know better, I'm realizing that that's not the case. I wish I went to younger people, my son's friends, and said, okay, I'm about to go back in, you know, and ask, picking their brains. What are you experiencing out there right now? What
Yeah,
technology advances can you help me to understand, or even give me a 101 on so I don't go in so blind, you know?
yes.
And really, instead of going for age and wisdom, going for more youth and, you know, modern
And
thinking.
these kids know the technology. They're so
Oh,
savvy.
aren't they? Yeah, amazing. And they're so fast. Like, but the focus too, and I do find that you know, kids are watching movies at 1.5 times the speed. Like, they don't even have
Yes,
the focus and the patience, a lot of them, to sit through a movie in normal time, you know,
that's
let alone
true.
sit and read a book. So I think if we bring that savvy, but then our focus and presence, the two together,
Yeah,
makes a beautiful thing. Yeah.
that is dynamic. That is a beautiful piece of advice, for other people who are out there becoming empty nesters. Kids have grown up
Mm,
and now wanting to come back into the workplace.
mm.
So, looking forwards, as my last question, what are your aspirations for your business and community programs? And how do you envisage contributing to the organization's growth and impact in the coming years?
Through the people. People are everything. You know, it's people and culture is everything, and the why, like being with like-minded people. You know, it does
Mhm.
take a village. It really, really does. No one can do anything of standing note on their own, you know.
Yeah,
So regardless if I stay here or if I move on to other things, other projects, it's about connecting with the people in real time and figuring out how together we can move forward to wherever it is or wherever it is we're going. So connection, bringing back that, you know, and having a conversation, you know, seeing their face, feeling their emotion, and just, yeah, bringing humanity, the humanity of things back, you know?
yeah. Yeah, that is everything. And a lot of times when we are in business, we tend to forget that the business is reliant on the people that you serve. And it's when you start
Exactly.
engaging with them, meeting them where they're at, seeing where the needs are, that you can really deliver an effective service. That is awesome.
100%.
Kylie, thank you so much for coming online and sharing your story with us today. It is sad that it's a business that was started out of tragedy, but you have transmuted that tragedy into something really positive. And I'm pretty sure you've saved many, many, many lives because of it as well. So thank you so much for your work.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been wonderful speaking with you.
And thank you to everybody who's tuned in today. The Diversity Connector is bringing people from all walks of life, young and old, sharing our stories of being in the workplace, working in different organizations. Come back again tomorrow when I interview yet another amazing guest. In the meantime, have a fantastic day, morning, or evening, wherever you are in the world. And bye for now. Thanks again, Kylie.
Thank you.
Bye for now, everybody. And that's a wrap, everybody, on today's episode of the Diversity Connector podcast. Thank you for tuning in and being part of our vibrant and global conversation. I'm your host, Gertrude Mache, and it's been an honor to share this space with you, where voices from all walks of life come together to weave a tapestry of diverse perspectives. Remember, every story you've heard today is a thread in the larger fabric of our shared humanity. So, as you step back into your world, carry these stories with you and let them inspire you to embrace and celebrate the rich diversity around us. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast to help us share these inspiring stories with more listeners. Do follow us on social media by looking for the Diversity Connector podcast for more updates. Until then, keep connecting, keep listening, and keep celebrating the beauty of diversity. This is the Diversity Connector podcast signing off. Stay curious, stay open, and definitely